So today we are going to be talking about energy is everything, especially in dating. So if you are single, this live is for you. We're going to be talking about how energetics plays such a huge role in your dating life and how your energy is attracting certain types of dating experiences, partners, all the things. And if you want to call in a new experience, this live is for you. If you are perfectly happy in your relationship or in your dating life, then this live may not be for you, although we can always learn something about energetics. So, welcome to today's episode. I am so excited to dive into this. As you guys know, I am launching for my program Powerfully Single Live. We start in just under 2 weeks, February 2nd, 2025. So, if you're listening to this in the future, you may have already experienced this program or heard about this program, but this program is for those that are single that want to focus on either dating themselves and or others. I mean, when we're dating others, we're always dating ourselves too, but we really want to have a balance of the two. So, this is really about embodying your most powerfully single self and looking at the energy in which you're relating to your love life, your dating life, and what that is attracting, and then really using your relationship history, the patterns, the attachment wounds that have gotten triggered, that have shown up in your past dating experiences to understand why you have attracted the partners that you have attracted. So, I've been talking a lot this week with clients around why they have had certain dating experiences. And this can be really hard to look at because we don't ever want to feel like we purposely were in a situation where we didn't honor ourselves or where we got hurt by someone, and we never want to look at our role in that because it can feel really uh just uncomfortable to look at and sometimes scary to look at, of like, why did I attract this person that treated me this way, or why did I attract this person that you know, just hurt me, or whatever it was. And especially when we dive into deeper layers of abuse in relationships, that can be incredibly painful to look at, just in terms of why that happened. Now, again, this is never about blame or fault or, it's his fault or my fault. Like, it's not about fault. It's just about understanding how energy works. So in childhood, our nervous systems get wired, and our nervous systems then create familiar, similar experiences throughout our adult dating life. So if you guys have seen the movie It Ends With Us or the book It Ends With Us, you will notice that Lily, the main character, she attracted a similar person as her dad. Her dad was physically abusive to her mom, and then she attracted someone who was physically abusive towards her. Okay. Sorry, Luna had something on her paw, and I was like, what is that? Okay, we got it. No, don't eat it. That's gross. All right. There we go. So is that because consciously she wanted to be abused? Of course not. It's because our nervous systems create what is familiar. And then same thing with Atlas, the other love of her life. He had a similar experience growing up with as she did with his parents, and so they had that common experience. But then he gave her that reparative experience of not treating her in that same way. So I've been talking with my clients a lot this week around how these partners that they have attracted, they're like, well, why would I attract someone like that? And it's like, oh, well, look at how your relationship was with your dad or your mom or your primary caregivers. And again, even if you consciously didn't like how that parent treated you or how that relationship felt, if it's familiar to your nervous system, it's going to create that and be drawn towards that. And you are going to be an energetic match for calling that in again rather than calling in something new. So, how do we call in something new? We have to uncover the root of why we're calling in that initial pattern to begin with, which is childhood wounding. So, for example, for me, I was always more anxiously attached. And so I would call in and attract more avoidantly attached people because that avoidant attachment felt more familiar in some ways with one of my parents. And then in other ways, um, my other parent was more of the anxiously attached, but then also had a little bit of avoidance, a little bit of both. So remember, like we're never always going to be just one attachment style. We may have one primary one, but then we can have mixes of different ones. So I also believe from a spiritual perspective, we attract what we need to heal to then get to what we want. So if we want to experience a securely attached relationship, we may have to call in someone who is avoidant to then bring up our anxious, or if you're avoidant, you may attract someone that's anxious to bring up your avoidance. So it's usually either what is familiar to the nervous system, which even in that, there might be some familiarity from one of your parents, if not both. Or it's, right? Because it's usually both. And it's what do you need to attract to be able to bring up your wounding to heal that? Because relationships are the greatest teachers that we have. We have people mirroring what's coming up for us, and then we have an opportunity to look at it and relate differently. So, one of my clients and I were just reflecting this morning actually about how she went from being really closed off to men and dating because she was healing from this abusive relationship. And so she didn't feel safe to think about, dating or romance or anything along those lines. And she actually just joined Powerfully Single, which in and of itself, she probably would not have done because, like, prior to this, because she was so closed off to it because she's like, I don't want to get hurt again, understandably so. But because of the work we've been doing of really helping her open up her heart again, not necessarily for romantic love, but just for self-love, for deeper connection within her own self, her heart has felt safer to open up to life again, to her own relationship, to her kids, to her work, to her purpose, to the life that she wants to create for herself. And in doing so, she has naturally, without looking for it, without trying, she has naturally begun attracting these men just out of nowhere, like people from high school or from her past, like just out of nowhere. And we both just keep laughing of like, of course, because the universe is perfect and it gives us what we need to get to what we want. And so what you need is to be shown that there are good, trustworthy men out there that you can feel safe with, and that your energy is now open to possibly experiencing just, whatever is meant to come out of these connections, just experiencing connections with others again. Because again, after relational trauma, it can feel really scary to open your heart in that way. But we have to look at if we're broken in relationship, there's also so much healing that can be done in relationships. I don't even like to say broken. We're wounded in relationships, then there's so much healing that can be done in relationships. Now, does that mean we need a relationship to heal? No, not necessarily, but it means that we need some type of relational container. So for me, I've done this healing with my mentor for the past 3 years. For a lot of my clients who are single, the relationship with me is the reparative attachment experience to build secure attachment within their own beings. For those that have partners, I work with them a lot in relational healing within their partnership. So doesn't have to be any one type of relationship. It could be a friendship, a romantic relationship, a mentor-mentee relationship. Any relationship is going to be an opportunity to be a catalyst for that deeper healing. Same thing within myself. When I was taking a break from dating and I was going through these connections, that would naturally come in when I was taking a break, because again, we can only control what we can control. And then let's say the connection ran its course and I'd be like, all right, I'm done. No more dating. That was a lot. And so I'd close my heart off. And again, sometimes we can't control that. So even if energetically I'm not available for like an actual partner, the universe was still sending me connections that were meant to help heal the anxious attachment in me so that I could eventually feel how I wanted to feel both in a partnership with another person, but also most importantly in the relationship with myself. So before, or I should say after those connections, I definitely was like just trying to control again of like, no, I don't want anything. And recently I've definitely been more open of like, okay, I feel like I'm really solid in the relationship with myself. I've taken a lot of time this past year to really get to know who I am authentically. I'm still getting to know myself authentically. And when I say authentically, it's like, who are you without the trauma responses? Who are you underneath all of those protectors and addictive behaviors and thought loops that keep looping? Like that isn't actually you. That is fear. That is protectors. And yes, as a human, you experience fear, but feeling fear is quite different than allowing your brain to loop. So I've noticed an energetic opening within my being where I have begun to attract just some little moments, like some little winks from the universe. I had one yesterday where this guy and I just looked at each other and, had like a moment. And it's just like bringing that like light, flirty, fun energy back when we feel safe enough to open our hearts around it. So, energy is everything in dating because if you are dating from a lens of your activated inner child, trying to get emotional needs met and relating to your date from a parent, right? Like you, child seeking parent, it's not going to end up feeling the way that you would like it to feel. Whereas if you are relating from the energy of, I got me, I am responsible for meeting my own needs. I am responsible for tending to this activated younger child in me. And I can just relate to dating from this place of connection. Do I feel a connection with this person? Not, oh, how good are they at complimenting me or validating me or paying for my meals? Like, sure, we can have preferences in dating, we can have standards in dating, but we want to make sure that our ego doesn't get too activated and actually get in the way of feeling clear on what feels like a connection versus just our attachment energy, just our inner child taking over. So, some signs that your inner child might be taking over. Let's say you break up with someone and you like immediately need to get back into the dating pool because the idea of being alone is terrifying. That is your inner child because your adult, powerful self feels safe to be alone. They actually love being alone. Having a partner would just be a cherry on top, not a necessity. And that's how we know if it's coming from a need versus a desire. A desire is just this overflow energy. It's like, yeah, I would love that, but I don't need it to feel safe or to sleep well at night. Some other signs would be your ego creates this whole list of like, this person needs to have this, and this. And, they need to look good on paper. That's all your ego. And what is your ego trying to protect you from? Possibly getting hurt, as if this person having these things on paper could protect you from being hurt. Listen, when you are in connection with someone, like true connection, you're going to get hurt sometimes. You're going to hurt each other sometimes. It's the nature of being human and being in a human relationship with another human. And when your ego is making these lists of like, it needs to look like this and this and this and this, it's just this false sense of safety. It's not actual safety. Actual safety is when you come into relationship with that younger part of you that's trying to feel safe and looking outside of themselves for that safety. So they might be looking in dating or substances or thought patterns or, certain addictive behaviors like TV or drinking or whatever it is. So safety is created in your internal being, not by reaching outside and being like, well, this guy went to Harvard and makes a lot of money and will take good care of me. It's like that is inner child energy seeking mommy or daddy. And that is just not a turn on. It's not attractive. What's attractive is a person in their power, a person who is connected to themselves, a person who knows who the fuck they are. That is what's hot. That is what is attractive. That is the type of energy that magnetizes true connection based on authenticity and alignment rather than your inner child trying to get emotional needs met that you are responsible for meeting. It doesn't mean that we can't experience reparative emotional needs being met in relationships, it means that that partner is not responsible for those needs. And this was something that I really had to learn the hard way, because I would always make my partners responsible for validating me the right way, saying the right thing, communicating the right way. And it's like I was just putting all the fault on them, and I wasn't taking any responsibility for why was I needing these things to begin with. Well, I was needing them because I had a very activated inner child living within me that made me want to grasp onto these people and say, oh, this is your responsibility. And most of them just allowed that behavior. And it brought up stuff for them of not feeling good enough. And this is the thing, is when you don't feel good enough, you then make the people around you not feel good enough because you're projecting your own shit. So with dating, energy is everything. It's, are you relating from this place of, I feel so completely whole and content and complete on my own, and dating feels like just a fun extension, desire, sharing that with someone, versus I feel like a half and I'm looking for my other half. I hate the expression, my better half, my other half. We are not supposed to be halves. We are supposed to learn how to be our own whole people. And then those two whole, complete humans can connect through actual connection, not, oh my God, I need you or else I'm going to die. That is parent-child relationship energy. That is how we're supposed to feel as children, because we actually do need our parent or else we will die. So it's looking at, where are you relating from that way? And relating from your most powerful self is just this non-attached energy of like, I feel safe to stay in the present. I feel safe to see where this connection goes. I feel safe to be honest when I don't feel a connection and not convince myself to go on another second, third, fourth date with this person just because I'm scared of hurting their feelings, because your most powerful self knows that it's actually not kind to someone to lead them on when you don't actually feel that connection. And a connection is not based on our ego. It's not based on what we think the connection should look like. It's, do you feel a connection? Like, it's that simple. Do you feel a connection with this person? What does a connection feel like? It feels like when you're talking to them, you want to keep talking to them. When you are talking to them, you feel an energy of exchange, like a vibe, a flow. It feels like you're learning, you're growing, you're expanding with this person. Like, as soon as you stop growing in a connection with someone, it's not really, maybe the connection has run its course. Maybe it's not actually a connection. Maybe you're holding on because you're scared of letting it go. And that is attachment energy. So in Powerfully Single, I'm really going to help you discern between what's connection energy and what's attachment energy, so that you can feel safe to attach onto yourself as your main anchor of safety. And then you have me in the group to also support you in doing that. And really deepening into the secure attachment, into the self-connection. And then when you connect more deeply to yourself, you will just be amazed at what you begin to attract in all areas of your life. And really be able to discern, oh, I was relating to that connection through holding on, through attachment, through my protectors, through my ego, rather than connection and an open heart and personal power and honoring yourself and honoring your needs. I had a session recently with a couple, and they were talking about uh, just different validation needs. And I said, yes, we all need validation. We do. But to make it that person's fault if they don't validate you, or a responsibility, it's different saying, hey, I need to feel generally seen in this relationship. That's like a basic human need, versus I need you to see me in this exact way. And that's control. And I used to do that shit all the time, and it is not cool. So if you are ready to dive into the energetics of dating, of your love life, and dating yourself, and cultivating a relationship with yourself that feels so deeply secure and connected, like you are that main anchor of safety, Powerfully Single starts February 2nd. We have 6 weeks together live. You have the 5 modules. You have in between Telegram riffs of me riffing all about self-love, about deepening your connection with yourself. And it's just a really fun program. Like, you can talk to those that have taken it. It's just like, it's so different than any of my other programs. It's very just light and fun and flirty. And you walk away just feeling so connected to yourself and like just so confident and so clear on what you actually want in your dating life, what you actually want in every other area of your life. But dating and the love life department, we're going to be really zoning in on. So if you would like to join, you can head to link in bio or DM me. I have payment plans available. I would love to have you. And I'm so excited to help you become powerfully single and really uncover the energy in which you are relating to yourself and others in your dating life so that you can create and call in and attract and magnetize a completely new experience in your dating life and break that pattern of calling in the emotionally unavailable person or the narcissistic person or the abusive person or whatever the person that you've been attracting in. We're going to shift that. So I cannot wait to guide you to this. And I love you all so much. And thank you for being here. And let me know how this all lands. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. And I will see you on the next episode. Mwah.